Well, good afternoon, bowling fans, and welcome to the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship here at Pro Bowl West. Craig Elliott along with Tom Carter here to call you the action in our Stepladder final. We got a pretty good Stepladder. Ron Moore looking for his first win this year. It's been a while for Ron. We got a couple of guys looking for their first title. Johnny Petraglia in the mix, back-to-back runner-ups here. He's going to be looking for that win.
Johnny is ready to go. I mean, this is his third TV show that he's made here. Unfortunately, he led the last two. He's starting from the bottom this week. We got Jim Knoblaw, who shot 300 in the position round to get here. That's going to be incredible. And Ron it was in ninth and shot a great game to make the show.
Yeah, Ron shot, 247, I believe, that last game to sneak in by 4 pins. We actually thought when he didn't strike that first ball on 10th, he'd come up short, but he had just enough. We're ready to get this Stepladder going. Let's get out to the lanes. Ron,
it's going to be a good show.
And Johnny Petraglia starting things off here at Pro Bowl West. And Boroff and Knobloch both looking for their first PBA 50 title. Boroff does have a regional win down in that very difficult Southwest region where there's just a ton of great players.
Well, yeah, you got the SASBA down there, and you got all those players.
It's tough. But a big win down there, but he's looking for his first one here, and he's actually just from about 40 minutes down the road. He grew up, born and raised in Paulding, Ohio, so he's got a lot of friends and family here rooting him on, looking for that first title.
He's a tough competitor. I mean, he's maybe somebody that's not really well known up here in the Midwest, but I think you're going to see a very good effort out of him. He's been throwing the ball well the whole past 2 days.
Yeah, maybe not well known to a lot of people out here on the tour, but as far as the competitive scratch side, and especially down in the Southwest region, he's very well known. Out of Mansfield, just a little bit south of Arlington, kind of the home base for the USBC there, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and of course taking on Johnny Petraglia. And what can we say? I mean, the guy's done everything. Yeah,
when you're taking on a legend, it's tough. Sometimes Johnny doesn't look like he's lined up, and the next thing you know, he's got a bunch in a row. And I hope I didn't jinx him there. I didn't. You can never count him out. I mean, he led this tournament the past 2 years. Unfortunately, he didn't win. This is his third year in a row on the show, having to work his way up the stepladder. But you can't count Johnny out at all.
And I tell you, talking to him a little and seeing him, just his mannerisms this week, he wants that win. He's a little on edge this week. He wants that win. He knows it's been 2 years in a row he's come up second. He wants that win here. He's 6 decades in a row with the title.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's fighting. If you watch him today, he might bounce up out of a few shots. He's fighting a little knee pain, and he said he felt a little stiff. But, it's 69 years old and throwing the ball.
I'm not 69, but I was definitely a little stiff this morning. When I woke up, too, got to get the kinks out. So, geez. And how about this beautiful trophy here?
Yeah. That's incredible. How about the wine in the trophy? That's even better.
Yeah.
Ron converts the spare. His demeanor is the same way all week. You don't know if he's bowling good or bowling bad.
That's that little southern influence there. Just kind of laid back, relaxed, make the shots. Even when we saw him get that final hit in the 10th there last game, he's like, yeah, okay. He knew he made it, but he was just, all right, let's go. I got another game or two to go. And
you never did see him like pump one out or get fired up or slap one out. He just walked back casual like, okay, I got this.
And how about that position round, huh? Man, was that exciting or what?
Unbelievable. Knoblaw shooting 300 to jump to second. It's kind of funny. Galen Keys down there with the front 10. He was down in 10th, thinking if he shoots 300, he's going to give somebody a run. Yeah. If he hadn't had a questionable game in the game before, he'd have been on the show also. And the numbers here this last 2 games were just unbelievable.
Yeah, and even this may be PBA60, but when it's time to get the pins, these guys just tighten things up, and we saw a ton of strikes those last 2 games. It was really fun to watch. And Galen Keys put a great run yesterday. Made a little run today, come up just a touch short, but still a very nice tournament. And right now, Boroff needs to find that strike line.
Yeah, Johnny's circling the pattern a little bit more than Ron is, but that's Johnny's game. He switched to that ball in the practice run. He goes, I think I'll move in and try something. He's been playing out where Ron's been playing the last 2 days. He was looking for a ball that, like we all do, that he could miss a little bit right with, find a little hold, and it would still strike.
There wasn't a lot of those balls out there this week. This chameleon pattern played definitely a little bit tighter. I think down lane is what we saw.
Boy, you got the ball in, and it just pinged every time. But then also, if you got it out too far, it also pinged. I mean, I thought it was kind of a touchy pattern. You needed the right release and definitely the right ball in your hand. It wasn't a lot of volume. It was 43 feet. I think it had only 20 mils, so you'd think it would be burning up pretty fast, but the shot didn't.
Yeah, it never did. Even yesterday in the match play after no re-oil that we saw really no big jumps inside, expecting it to burn up a little bit. So what is Johnny throwing? That's not that A-sim he was throwing earlier. That's,
no, that is the Nirvana that he switched to.
Look at that.
We actually brought that out yesterday and added a little surface to it, and he threw it, and he goes, that's okay, but I think I got a better look with these other two, which obviously he knows his game. But he decided that this is going to give him a better look today. I asked him after the reel, and he goes, they're just like they've been all week. They just might hook a little bit more on the back end.
And how do you ball rep Johnny Petraglia? I mean, look at his resume. I mean, what can you say to him? I mean, you've seen his game. You know his game. I mean, he's going to listen to you. But if he says, I'm using this ball, you're going to say, okay, go right ahead, right?
Well, yeah. Well, it's like, I got Parker Bone and Walter Ray and Bob Lerner. What do you say to those guys? Yeah. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, nice shot.
Good going.
Good. Yeah. That's got to be fun to be out here repping those guys.
It is. I mean, it's basically like a dream come true. Trying to, you get to help them out and lay out some balls for them. Actually, with Walter up in Welch and went 760 over, we changed some spans and pitches, and it was awesome.
And a rough start for Boroff. Can't kick out all 10 pins. Staying clean, making the spares, front four for Petraglia. And it's surprising to see Boroff kind of he changed balls for this match. I didn't see what he started on the fresh, but I know in the last few games he was throwing the Truth, a newer ball from his brand.
Yeah, he's throwing the Dream
symmetrical.
On now.
This is the Dream On, a hybrid asymmetrical as well. So a totally different motion and everything than what he'd been throwing the last couple of games.
And he's got more surface on this ball. He's not seeing the pattern the same way, and he knows that. I'm surprised he hasn't picked up the Truth at this point and give it a shot.
Yeah, at this point, after all those, 4 consecutive 9 spares, you might as well try something. But there, all right.
He got her lined up. Move. There's still a lot of frames left.
But I don't know if he's watching that go through the pins, if that's quite still the racks, and he's looking for. We got another look here on the replay.
Yeah, he's hitting roughly 8-9 right down the lane. He's keeping it pretty tight on line where Johnny's giving it a little bit more room. He's still got a possible 257.
Oh, yeah, he's still got a good game to go there. And maybe that's a strategy. He wanted to stay inside of Johnny because Johnny's going to try to circle the pattern more than not, right?
Right. That's Johnny's A game if he can curve it a little bit. That was a pure shot. And he posted that. That kind of looked like Johnny of old there.
When he kind of lets go and he just does he peeks around to the pocket, that's flush.
Yeah, he's looking around the corner.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, look at that.
He's got that traditional follow through to the left, classic.
Well, it's different because they teach kids nowadays almost the exact opposite of that, right?
With follow through to the opposite ear.
Yeah. I don't know how they do that. I can't. It hurts. But.
Yeah, I'm too old to try. This little fat body's not bending like that.
But how about Johnny Petraglia, front 5 now?
Can hear a pin drop in here. Beautiful. Front 6 for Johnny. I think he's feeling a little bit more comfortable. It's kind of funny when he started, he goes, man, I feel so stiff, though. I go, you're going to be fine. Just get up there and do what you do. Yeah. Strike a lot.
Just strike a lot. And he's doing just that.
He's definitely got to be making Ron think about what's coming up.
And Ron's sticking with the same ball, so I think he's just sticking to that plan, and it could be tough in this situation, not being here too many times to make that big move, but we'll see how it plays out here.
Well, I know you'd really definitely like to get out of the gate and win the first match. It's his anniversary today. It'd be a nice anniversary present.
39 years, wife Anita, congratulations. What a way to celebrate that would be, huh? Oh. And in front of some hometown fans. He grew up in this area, just 40 miles down the road, so he's got a lot of support here.
He's just got a classic smooth style, through the ball, down and in. He doubled up. Like I said, he's got Johnny going at obviously a 300 pace. He's filled them all. But Ron's shooting 257 if he finishes it out, so he's definitely putting some pressure back. Like any bowler, you're hoping for a hiccup from your opponent.
Yeah, you just got to keep filling frames and hope for an opportunity at this point. And we've got Don Sylvia waiting for the winner of this match.
Boy, did he bowl fantastic all week. Holy cow. That didn't look quite as smooth. Either he lost his balance or he jerked up on it right there at the point of release, and that ball just jumped up early, and he knew it. He was praying that it would hold.
Yeah, it looks like he just kind of got his weight too far forward there and pulled up on it, and then that's the result.
Well, anytime you get your weight too far forward, shoulders ahead of your knee, your hand wants to get around the side of the ball way too early. You kind of thumb down it, and the ball is, for him, dead right off of his hand. That leverage point, keeping your shoulders back, in a leverage position over your knee, is huge in today's game because the balls are so strong. They don't coast down the lane like the old balls. They want to hook as soon as they hit the lane.
And just about. I think he thought he chopped that for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Like, just enough. And this is the same pair we just saw Knobloch shoot 300 on in match play to jump from 4th up to 2nd and go around a couple players.
And Jim, when he was warming up, had a pretty good look. He's feeling pretty comfortable on this pair. There's that peek around the corner you just talked about.
Just take a little look and just admiring that shot. And, what's not to like about this? I mean, look at that footwork.
Johnny actually revs the ball and curves it more than most left-handers out on the tour today. He's just and that's his game. He likes to see the ball make a motion, where some of the lefties that were in the finals today were a lot straighter than Johnny.
I think we ended up with, 4 lefties in the top 32. And two
Johnny got that one in a little bit,
and
he knew it. Still a good run. Pick this up, going at a 278 pace then. He could have been really a bad break on that, as high as that shot was. That could have ended up.
That could have been a number of different things.
Oh, yeah. That could have been a 2-4-10 or really easy. It's kind of interesting. He throws his original LT-48 rubber ball for his spare shot. And when that ball came out, it was the hookingest thing on the planet. Now it's his spare ball.
That was a couple of years ago.
Is it serial number 1?
Maybe.
Ron Boroff in must-strike position now. It was a 245 left on the table. And, again, another
He'd
break.
really opened the door if that would have stood. Looking at 223 right now if he strikes out. Johnny pretty much just has to get up and hit some pins at this point.
Yeah, just stay behind the foul line for a couple shots, throw a mark in there, and he's in good shape.
You never like to get beat at any time, and you definitely don't like to get beat on TV. You always want to give it your best, And Ron's going to come back and look at this when he gets home and be thinking, how come I didn't post those 2 shots? Feet get a little fast, wanting it a little bit too much,
Yeah. Well, he got himself in position here. It gives him a chance to win. Take the experience, Elkhart next week, and, roll with the punches. And
our final stop next week. There you go.
And how about this season so far on the PBA 50/60 tour? It's been a pretty exciting season with what Pete Weber's done. Amleto's had a good run. Ron Morris seems to be up there every single week.
I thought Pete Weber, if his hip hadn't hurt, he would have done it, stayed out here and won at least 2 more times and won 8 titles in 1 year. And that had been over half the season. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, it's just unreal.
All the other guys are going, Pete didn't show up? Oh, here's one more check.
You got to have that little thought, right? I mean, yes, you want to see him get out here and set those records and be part of history with him around you, but it's also nice if he takes a week or 2 off and gives a few other guys a chance to
he needs a break. He's getting ready for the swing to start up in Detroit. I think that's September 4th, and and he's 54 and still beating on the kids a little bit.
Yeah.
Johnny converted the spare, and easily
That's
handles
enough.
this match, and it's definitely enough to win on to the next match.
It's another great week, though, for Ron Boroff. What a big run to jump in there. You'll go from 9th to 5th in that last match of position round.
And
Give himself a chance.
Yeah, nobody was really watching down at that part.
Oh, we were watching.
Yeah, you guys were watching. Everybody was watching the other match between 5th and 6th, thinking Lineberry was going to be making the move. And out of nowhere, here comes
Got him by 4
Boroff.
pins.
Just sneaking up
Just
behind.
enough. Yeah, I really thought we were doing the math that he needed the first hit in the 10th, and he didn't. He made that spare. And now here's the opening that Boroff was looking for, but it's a little late. So Johnny Petraglia advances to take on 3-time titleist here on the PBA60 Tour, Don Sylvia, now out of Daytona Beach, Florida. And again, congratulations, Ron Boroff. A very nice week, and happy anniversary to you and wife Anita, 39 years.
At least he gave himself a chance. He made the show. That's quite a feat in itself.
So Craig Elliott and Tom Carter back with the next match coming up next.
Well, hey, there it works. Congratulations to Ron Boroff, Johnny Petraglia, winner of the opening match. It's still a great day for Ron Boroff. Congratulations to them, pulling great all week. Finished 16th here in the PBA60 Tour stop with the Hayes Insurance Group Championship. And happy anniversary to Ron. That's always a great day. So anything you want to say to the crowd, Ron?
I want to thank everybody here at Pro Bowl West. It was a great tournament.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you again in the final matches, Ron. Thank you. Coming on board, Don Sylvia from Daytona Beach, Florida. That sounds like a nice place to go. Don Sylvia will take some practice shots here, 6 in all, and we'll get match number 2 underway for you. and gentlemen, Johnny Petraglia will start the match. He is going against Don Sylvia from Daytona Beach, Florida. Don has won 3 times out here on the PBA60 Tour. He has 2 championships as well on the PBA Regional Tour. Let's give him a nice send-up to start match number 2. Let's good luck.
Back at it for our second match of the day, Johnny Petraglia against Don Sylvia. Looking for a little reset, I think, here. We need pins.
It's always good to have some pins. It always helps. It's kind of hard to knock them down if they're not standing up to begin with.
Well, yeah.
So we know players have a kind of a certain strategies. Does Johnny like starting all the matches? Is that kind of his thing, or does he kind of go with feel? Or
I think he just goes with feel. And if you're watching the match before, and hopefully you tuned in and you seen Johnny throw the front 7 and all of a sudden kind of hop and stick. I went down and talked to him. He said it was getting a little warm down there, and he had to take some tape out of the ball. He wasn't clearing his thumb. So, and there you go. He cleaner off of his hand. But I was a little worried about what was going on down there because all of a sudden it looked like that he changed his whole game plan.
Looks like he might have tightened up just a touch on that one too. Is that what we're seeing? Is that intentional, you think? Or?
It is. He had told me that he's trying to get a feel for where to hold the ball a little bit different so he can generate a little bit more ball speed to keep the ball on line.
And that's been the key, I think, on this pattern is just, really try not to give the pocket away too much. Keep it in there fairly tight, but you still got to have the right speed and rotation. Other than that, it's a fairly simple pattern, right?
Yeah. Of course it is.
I mean, right speed, right rotation, put it in the right spot.
Right ball in your hand, right surface on the ball. Other than that, it's a piece of cake. Sylvia's going to play him a little bit straighter. He's basically going to go at him, I believe, on the right side. Ron Moore coming over practicing. Ron was practicing with some stuff that was really sanded, so he might have just made Sylvia's shot a little bit easier for him.
And this is a different ball than I didn't see exactly what Sylvia was throwing there, but he was throwing a solid black ball. I know he's not with any specific company, but this is a ball change than what we saw earlier. And maybe it's because what you just said, if Ron come down and did a little something in practice, just kind of working on things and trying stuff, he needs to go with something, what's a little pearlized. That like maybe an Optimus Pearl, maybe?
Either that or it's a snap lock.
Snap lock, one of the two, yeah. Same kind of color scheme, so it's tough to really pick them both out.
Most of the guys out here like to use the latest and greatest, and that's one of the newer balls from Storm, a snap lock. But yeah, Ron was down here with 2 different balls and pretty much just grinding on them with Avalon pads, trying to burn his shot in. So sometimes when you do that, you make your shot better, but you also make your opponent's shot pretty good too.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, the thing that Ron can do maybe that some of these other players can is he's just so strong. He can get out there and really pipe it, so he doesn't mind kind of chewing him up a little bit out there.
No. Well, that looked like a pretty good shot. Johnny posted it. He thought it was going to be there. Came in just a hair light. And so that extra ball speed he's trying to generate might be getting the ball down the lane just a hair too far.
So 14 national titles, 8 senior titles, 9 regionals, 6 decades with a national title. That's fun to say, right? I mean, that's crazy.
6 decades. I'll be 60.
Yeah, you're just catching
in 11 days, so yeah. I'm not even 6 decades.
And I think he's celebrating his 50th anniversary of his first win coming up here, I think, later this year.
Oh, that's just incredible. Just to be able to be his age and throw the ball as well as he does, it's incredible.
Triple Crown, every Hall of Fame available out there, he's in it, and 16th greatest player in PBA history when those came out. It's been a while since that number came out, hasn't it?
Yeah, and he's still competing, so maybe that number should be adjusted a little bit because he's still out here.
Yeah, it's time. Bowler's Journal, let's do a new top 50.
Yeah, I think some of the guys need to be re-rated. Classic style, Johnny Petraglia. Follow through to the left, just the opposite of what Don Johnson used to do. Follow through to the right. Like you said earlier, they teach it a lot different today.
A little bit, yeah. Drop the shoulder, just let her go, and
yeah, kind of really drop the shoulder, follow through, get a lot of spine tilt, get that follow through going straight. And it looks like it's going to your left ear.
Right. Stop.
Really
I'm sorry, just listening. Just stop. What these young kids can do, it's fun to watch, huh?
That was almost a
solid 10.
disaster. 7-10. There's a few of those we've seen today, and through the whole week, even the tournament prior to this. The ball looks good, and 10 pins have been a nemesis here to begin with, just because the certain patterns allow better carry. This pattern really made the 10 pins kind of magnified this week. Problem is you make that adjustment and it could be a 2-8-10 the next ball. Cross lane, piece of cake, picks up the spare. Sylvia knows that this isn't going to be an easy match. He needs to find something, because if he would advance, he's got two opponents that are pretty well lined up in front of him.
Yeah, Knobloch really made some big adjustments after that first day, and Ron Moore, he's just been on cruise control most of the week and just turned it on once match play hit.
Yeah, once match play hit, he just becomes a different person. You know, I think his first game in match play out of the gate was 270 something.
299, wasn't it, the first game?
First game?
Yeah, just brought it.
He not only climbed the ladder, he just kind of pole vaulted around people. Sylvia getting it down around 5-6, even 7 down lane. He's got some hold. He's got a little bit of a way. He's just got to make sure that it comes off his hand clean. Oh, Johnny didn't like that one off his hand. He kind of gave it that peek around the corner, but that wasn't clean off his hand. It almost, I can't say he grabbed it, but let's call it missing it at the bottom. And that's the same scenario on both sides of the lane. If you get that ball out just a couple of boards, a board too far, it just really wiggles down lane and doesn't face up.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since Johnny's had a win out here, so he's definitely earned. He was out in Dayton, the Dayton Classic in 2012, to get his 6th decade with the title. And as I mentioned, he's getting ready to celebrate the 50th anniversary of his first win, along with his good buddy Barry Asher. They're both celebrating their 50th anniversary of their first PBA win coming up later this year.
Oh, wow. I'd have been 10. Either that was
my parents were just graduating high school.
Either that was a little bit over adjustment because the last one didn't come up. He kind of got around that one a little bit much, and when it hit the break point down, it just went up, crawled right up on the head pin.
So we got a little bit of a match here right now after the last couple shots for Petraglia.
At this point, nobody looks overly lined up. It's about filling frames.
Well, you know, we've talked. This has been kind of a tough pair this week. I mean, we did see Knobloch shoot 300 here. We've seen some good games, but it's been a tricky pair as the blocks move on.
I thought in the tournament, the previous tournament, there's about 4 pair right through here, 37 to 43. I mean, they were a little bit touchy. You know, you come off a big game and you hit this pair and like the ball just didn't quite react the same. And the pairs in front of the counter definitely hooked more. Pairs on the high end were a lot tighter. Pairs on the way low end, they were tighter. So we've seen a lot of transition in the center as we went, which is good. I think that's what makes bowling interesting. You know, you got to make adjustments. You got to try to read your ball reaction. You got to do the right thing. I mean, it wouldn't be any fun if you just threw the ball all the time and it struck. I mean, people think that's what they want to do, but there wouldn't be any challenge to that.
I tell you, the guys that are the champions out there on the PBA60, 60, and even the regular tour, they're there for a reason. Yes, they have great talent and physical ability, but their knowledge base and what they do with that knowledge, that's a big part of it.
Right. Don shaking his head. He just doesn't like his reaction. I think he's not getting it as directed as he'd like to on the left lane. It was out there at that 6-7. It looked like it was going to make the turn.
Yeah, that 6-pin just laid, didn't do much in the gutter and kick out the 10.
Surface played a big part in this week's tournament. Where, I mean, guys were actually, you know, throwing 500. I mean, just grinding on a ball, and and it made the ball read the mid lane better. And you'd have thought on a pattern with not very much volume on it, you wouldn't need to do that, but they did. I think they caught some guys off guard because they thought they'd outsmart the system, and that never works.
Well, and and that's that new D530 oil, right? That you don't get the carry down or the burn up like you do with some other oils. It just kind of fills the track back in. Yes, you're going to lose a little bit of volume throughout the block, but not near as much on a traditional type of oil.
It's
really interesting to watch it.
Yeah,
happen.
it is, because you're thinking, okay, it's going to blow apart here at any minute, and it never really does.
I remember a couple years ago when the first version of D5 came out, we had some samples to try back home, and it was just like, come on, how can we not blow that pattern open? We tried and tried and tried. It just doesn't happen. And that's a good thing, right? Because it makes these guys do something a little bit different. I mean, historically, you're just going to keep moving left, and
right.
now you don't do that.
Yeah, guys are thinking 3 games ahead. What's going to happen, and it doesn't anymore. Looks like Johnny. There is something happening on the right lane for Johnny, because that's 2 shots in a row that have come up. The LT48 going definitely straight down the lane. It's kind of funny. That ball was made for the conditions and the lane oils that were back then. Most lanes were wood. Now on today's synthetics and the new viscosity of oils.
It's a good spare ball.
Yeah, just hydroplanes. It can't eat through the oil. We're talking about the oil and the breakdown yesterday. They had 6 games, the final 6 games of qualifying. Then they had about an hour and a half break and went right into match play. There was no re-oil. And the lanes didn't really change all that much. Guys thought that, they were really going to open up because there was no re-oil, and it didn't happen. Back in the pocket. Now he's just got to figure out the right lane. It seems like he's having a little bit of issue with that. The ball's like barking off the spot just a bit. Back foot down, classic style. You can see where he had a little bit of knee problem. He couldn't post that shot as long as he would really like to. It kind of fall off. He's been complaining about that knee for the whole week. I'm not sure he wears a knee brace, but if he doesn't, he might want to look into one. I know Walter Ray wears 2 knee braces as he bowls, I believe. Definitely one.
Sylvia with a prime chance here to really take a commanding lead. Yeah, that looked a little left, and I think he probably 10-pin all the way. Made an adjustment off that flat 6 last shot, but
the 10s
not quite right.
And the pins are only 3 weeks old, which makes them a little bit tougher to knock down. But if you don't have the right angle entry on this pattern, you hit the pocket a lot. It's just whether you're going to strike or not. And the guys who figured it out are the ones that are on the show.
And they're the ones that were avoiding those big splits that we saw a lot
Right.
of this week. A lot of 7-10s, a lot of big 4s, Greek churches. And, these are the guys that managed to fill the frames and not have those disastrous couple of so I don't remember who it was. We saw somebody earlier this week just to our right, front 4, then 5 consecutive splits.
Oh.
When you're locked in, right? You got 4-bagger. Split. So
how's that happen?
What do you do?
Yeah, how's that happen?
And it's just such a subtle change.
When you start leaving 10s, it kind of gets into your head. And for Don, he's got to not grab the shot to try to make it come up higher in the pocket. He needs to make a little bit of an angle change, possibly a ball change. That ball took off on the back end.
Yeah, I think he knew he got out of that one very, very clean and got it where he wanted to, and he started walking at about 35 feet.
Sylvia looking at a possible 247 if he goes off the sheet.
You always like those shots when all the pins just kind of collapse right towards the ball in the back of the pit. Like a vacuum just sucks them back there.
That's always a nice thought. Johnny left a shot earlier. He struck on it. That was it in the match play round. It looked like he threw 10 pins over to the 7-pin, and it kind of looked like a dog pile, and it finally knocked it down. And Chris Keene was sitting down there, and he goes, 3 dead, 7 injured. It was loosened Johnny up, and he just kept on striking.
6-pin for Petraglia. He's digging himself a little hole here. It's going to be tough to come out of it. Sylvia is now a great opportunity to snag this match. And we've got Mr. Knobloch, Jim Knobloch out of Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Waiting in the wings.
Looking for his first title.
Johnny with a possible 205 if he goes off the sheet, which means Sylvia, all he has to do is fill some frames the rest of the way out. to be able to advance to bowl against. And Jimmy and Don are going to be both playing about the same part of the lane, so that'll be a pretty good match.
I mean, Sylvia's been in this position before. He's got 3 titles, but for let's say for a new person on here, would you rather just have to fill frames, or do you want? I mean, does that do anything different to your psyche as you're up there, knowing you have to perform, or just fill frames, and all of a sudden maybe with the way this pattern is, that brings a washout or the 210 into play?
Well, yeah, you can drop your guard, and you could go open these last 2, and things are bad. I would think if Don puts 10 in the pit here, he's got an opportunity to experiment a little bit in the 10th to see what's going to go on. Sure.
Yeah, and any chance you get to throw a couple practice shots and get some knowledge off what the lanes are telling you, take advantage of it.
Well, it might seem like an eternity when you're watching the show, but when you're down there bowling, this time goes by so fast, and those 10 frames they're gone. It's like a blink of an eye, and you're scared to make too much of an adjustment because you don't want to bury yourself, but you need to make one. And I think that with that shot there, pretty much done the deal. You figured out how to knock out that 10 pin on the right lane. And if you look at his score, is double, 10 pin, double, 10 pin, 10 pin, double again.
I think it's still enough, though, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah, 208 even with the miss. Yeah, So Don Sylvia will advance to bowl against Jim Knobloch in the semifinal match here at the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship, presented by Hammer. Oh, why not pick it up?
And he picks it up. Why not?
So now he gets one practice shot.
And realistically, if I were him, he's got the match in hand. I'd either be trying a different ball, a different line, or something just to see.
Yeah, different ball, but he's not going to. He's going to stick with it. It looks like the snap lock, the same one. Because he didn't throw a great shot last time, so he probably wants to try it again.
Well, the shot before that on this lane that he did strike, it really jumped. I mentioned it jumped hard on the back end, and that lane could be hooking a little bit stronger. That track opening up some. It's Don Sylvia against Jim Knobloch for our next match.
Petraglia finishing up here. Last couple frames. A second, and now a 4th place finish.
I know that's got to be getting a little aggravating. At some time he would like to shut the door on this tournament, being in the show.
He's probably going to be gripping that glass of red wine a little tight later, gritting his teeth, thinking what could have been. But it's still a good week. Remember, like you said, he's 69 years old.
And he just came off the trade shows. He's been working like crazy. I know he's been doing trade shows for Brunswick, and to get down here and still perform like this, I mean, he's a trooper.
I'm hoping to be able to just sit here in the booth when I'm 69, let alone be out there on the lanes. I mean, it's very impressive what these guys in the PBA60 tour can do. And,
we'll get your walker up here. Don't worry.
All right, perfect. We need to build a ramp. We've got one right over here. And, I hear a rumor that you're getting ready for PBA60 coming up here in a couple of weeks. Is that right?
A couple of weeks. How about the 24th of this month?
Oh. So we'll be back here. Craig Elliott and Tom Carter. Semifinal match up next. Jim Knobloch and Don Sylvia here live from Pro Bowl West.
Johnny Petraglia, great tournament again. Congratulations to you. Don Sylvia, congratulations moving on to the semifinal match.
I want to thank everybody here for coming out. Every year here, Dave Small and his staff do such a great job for us, and they treat us, like family. They feed us as well as putting on back-to-back tournaments. And I love coming here, and hopefully we'll be there next year. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Johnny. I love coming here too. I think we're top 5 every time. Congratulations again, Johnny. Okay, we are going to take some more warm-up. Ron Moore comes on for 4 shots right now. Don Sylvia will practice on 40 if he likes. And Jim Knobloch, 6 shots for you. Your choice of starting line. We'll get the semifinal match going. start the semifinal match here at Pro Bowl West. Both players hoping to get to the title match to face Ron Moore coming up. It's Jim Knobloch from Waukesha, Wisconsin. Jim is a champion on the PBA Regional Tour as well as winning a PBA60 Tour title. The USPC Super Senior Classic is what Jim won. He's a member of the Waukesha Bowling Hall of Fame in Wisconsin. He's going against PBA 50 Tour champion Don Sylvia for the semifinal match. It should be a good one. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
John Weber with the announcements before we get started with this match between Don Sylvia and Jim Knobloch. I heard they were going to nominate John Weber for a Nobel Prize for Tournament Director of the Year.
Why not? He does a fantastic job, along with Miss Linda Carter. Those two are
Wonder
on
Woman.
the ball.
Yeah, Wonder Woman doing all the scores. It looks like through a few more practice shots, Don Sylvia figured out that left lane.
A little more speed, maybe just kind of pipe it in through the slot there, but still not overhit it. You don't want to do that.
He didn't get the ball near as far out. That break point was more like 7-8 instead of 5-6. Oh, look at this. Service.
That's service.
That's
huh?
service. I get
Service with a
coffee.
smile, too?
I get coffee. How can I talk with that standing in front of me?
I don't know, Mike Diaz with an eerie grin there. So you might want to check that coffee. Get a taste tester first. Knobloch showing no signs of nervousness there. Talking to him a little bit before the match, he's a chatty guy. He likes to talk, but he sounded a little fast, like he was a little amped up, and hopefully he can just kind of slow things down. And like you say, when you get in these matches, especially the first time, it just speeds right up.
Well, I think his profession might give him that tempo of to being slower. For 37 years, he was a pharmacist. I don't think you can mix those drugs up all that fast. So I think his tempo is a little bit slow. He's a retired pharmacist, and he's got an opportunity to come out and play on the senior tour, now being a super senior, and obviously throwing it real well. Shot 300 in the position round match. But the lanes are starting to hook a little bit more than they did in the position round. You've had a couple guys come over with a few grits of Avalon trying to break open the lanes, and
he's throwing a pretty aggressive ball too. I think it's still the Guru Supreme. So that's a pretty potent nugget there that he's got in his hand.
Yes,
he's got to keep the speed up. But he's stuck with that. I think he said all day long. He just hasn't gone away from it, and you can't argue. He's had a couple good sets here in the last day and a half. After a rough start.
Look at that pickup. 3-6, 7-10, and he doesn't plan on going away easily. And he posts every shot. Just his timing and tempo is so good right now. He's throwing the ball fantastic. His game is, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's why you're 60 and older out here bowling, because your games are simple. You didn't hurt yourself trying to do too much. I worry about the kids today trying to overdo,
You got to wonder if that's going to come back and bite them someday, man. Growing up in the 80s, our short oil releases. I mean, look at our hands, our knees, and all the different joints now. They're non-existent.
Right.
But, I think with the technology and all the new information out there, these kids are learning, the new kinds of tapes, the kinesiology tapes, the stretching exercises, stuff we didn't really know back then.
Well, right.
We just threw it and ripped it and just
and the coaching, which wasn't really
the coaching, yes.
The coaching wasn't even really a thought of back in the early 80s. You kind of just grabbed the ball, went out there and bowled, and if you figured it out, you came out and played.
And Sylvia starts with a quick double here in Knobloch. That split conversion could be pretty big in this match. We'll see how it plays out, but Sylvia looking for front three here in the semifinal match.
That's what happened last game to him twice. He got that ball out to that 5-6 break point, and is just so dry out there, read so hard, the ball right through the nose.
And similar actions between the two players, different types of balls, but same thing. We had a 3-6, 7-10 for Knobloch and a 3-10 here for Sylvia. But that left lane maybe hooking a touch more,
especially to the right. He got that right a little early also, and he got it to that hook spot. It just bounced off of that. That's where, we always try to teach going from point A to point B in a straight line. So you want to make your lines. You have your break point. You draw your lines back across your target and keep the ball on that line. If you just swing it outside that line, you have just what happened there. The potential of going high, get to the friction too soon, ball overreacts.
And an open frame, 56 in the third for Sylvia. A chance for Knobloch to get up here, throw a couple quick strikes, and sit on a lead for a few frames at least.
How do you like those shoes? They're flaming.
Pretty sharp.
Yeah,
I own a similar pair of those shoes.
That's the Wisconsin special pair up there.
Why didn't we know that $2 Phil Rilo would have a pair of those?
And he just ordered a new sport coat to match as well, so wait till that comes in.
That's all right. He tried to sell my motorhome when we were in Columbus.
Well, if you get the right price, everything's for sale, all right? Splitting the 8-9 for Knobloch on that shot. And we've got Ron Moore waiting. Can you believe it's been 4 years since Ron last won a title here on the PBA60, PBA60 tour?
It doesn't seem like it. He was always in the top 5.
And all year this year he's been there.
Yeah, Super Senior Player of the Year. I believe that's going to be Ron Moore.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. And it's funny, if Pete didn't win all he's won, we'd be talking about Ron Moore as having one of the best years out here on the PBA 50 tour. I mean, he's there every single week. He's in the mix. Just hasn't had the W is all. That's all he's been missing. He's had the chance a couple times, and he wants it. I mean, it's
Ron
been 4 years. He wants that win.
He when he puts his shoes on, steps on that wood, he's fierce. I mean, every shot counts. Every pin counts. He doesn't lose focus. I mean, he was an air traffic controller for 25 years.
Yeah, you talk about calm, cool, and collected with Knobloch mixing the potions up.
And then he was a teacher for 3 years on that. That's just incredible. You got to have got great focus on that too. I think Jimmy needs to make a bigger move on the left lane. That hook spot's definitely coming into play.
And that's the thing we talk about at times too. He's had that ball, I think, for the last 12 games. I don't think he's changed at all. Is that a bad thing now, though, when you're in this position? Because it's starting to hook.
I would have liked to have seen him just throw something different to see what his looks like, because he's got some other equipment with not quite as aggressive service, drilled the same way. He's throwing the Radical Supreme, and I know he's got the another Radical, the Guru Mighty, I believe, that is a little cleaner through the front. And it might not be a bad thing to, if he tries to stay in that same zone, to switch balls on that left lane. Because if Don figures this out on the left lane, it could be tough.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing for Don, it's just a matter of getting the ball to the right spot down lane. He's getting through the heads, no problem. That ball's not picking up early at all. It's just a matter of, at the 40, 43-foot mark where he's coming off the pattern, if he's in the right area.
He just can't get the ball right early on this left lane because his misses have all been high, way high. Little hop, skip, and a toss, and it's high again. Oh, he got a break on that because that could have been real ugly. So there's a little confusion going on the left lane for both players.
We're going to see both players make a big jump, I think, here. I think they're forced to, whether it's a ball or just a drastic line change or just
I hope Don,
another mile an hour, which is not always easy to do this late in the tournament. We're on day 3, or for some of these players, day 7, or I don't even know how many days.
At this late in age, too.
Yeah, and there's that, yes.
Yeah, speed sometimes after they've been bowling this many games is tough to do. But I hope Don doesn't think that he didn't really post that shot. That little hop caused it to hook early because that lane's really hooking early. He needs to see that.
Jim Knobloch out of Waukesha. He's got one PBA 50 regional title. He's in the Waukesha Hall of Fame. Also a USBC Super Seniors Classic. So he's got a USBC title in his resume as well. So he's been in these positions before. But this is for a PBA 60 national title.
On TV for the first time, wanting a national title. You got to want it. But you got to get by this opponent before you can get to the show, the big show.
And that was a pretty good shot right there.
Well, that puts him up 4, and he's got a possibility of shooting, 250 this game?
Pretty tight and straight there, right up, look, what, straight up 10 and never let the ball leak right at all.
Well, this is going to be the test if he moves left and tries to open the lane up or tries to throw it a little firmer. And him being tall, and he's like 6'3", and lanky, he's got really good ball speed. It's a matter if he tries to throw it. He's got something unique on, too. It looks like he's having a little trouble getting set up and getting that feel, you know, when you get your hand in the ball.
Yeah,
That was a smart move.
And thinking, what am I going to do in this lane? Because this lane's hooking, you know, so you got that going on. The ball doesn't feel right. Just step back.
Step back. You know, do your pre-shot routine again. Get set. You know, your mind's got to be clear, because if you're thinking about something other than what you're supposed to be doing at this point, it's not going to turn out very good. Was it a good reset? Oh, it looked like a pretty good shot, but now he's into that zone where if the ball doesn't make that turn, we talked about that earlier, it could be ping 10s. He went straighter with it. Break point down there, roughly 7-8, 8-9, right in that zone. He didn't try to loop it out.
Yeah, we've seen him all week. That's his comfort zone, is just kind of go hard and straight, and he's throwing an aggressive enough ball where he knows he's not bringing a wall shot into play. It's just a matter of will it lay off and not go through the face for some ugly split. And fighting it again.
He's having a little bit of an issue. He had an issue with his strike shot there with his thumb, and now with his spare ball.
But a good lesson for people watching. I mean, how many times do we at home do that and just go? It doesn't matter, right? Or you're standing approach here, and just going to go, and then it's a split or a bad shot.
Yeah, I don't want guys giving me, talking junk to me because I backed off. But, sometimes you have to. It's about making a shot and winning the title.
Yeah.
You need to make every shot dead focused. You go up there not feeling right, you're thinking about that. You're not thinking about the shot. There is a 25-second shot clock, but I'm pretty sure.
Not an extra frame. I've wanted that shot clock. Trust me.
I don't think John's keeping time.
No, he might be done. Or sometimes he's got to stop watching and he's looking at something, but he's keeping things moving here. Yeah, when you're going for a national title, you know what? I'd pay a little fine if you have to make sure you're set in doing exactly what you want to do. Commit to the shot, make the good shot.
Well, you can tell both the guys, I believe, are in the area. They're in their comfort zone. They're not having to overswing the ball. And this pattern all week, I felt, was a little more conducive to the guys that could go really straighter through the front part of the lane.
Absolutely.
Not try to circle the pattern. Circling the pattern is fun to do. It's fun to watch, but sometimes it's not the right thing to do. And for the guys that didn't make it because they like to circle the pattern, you try to teach them, what you like to see sometimes is not what you need to see. I like to see this certain motion, but what you really need to see is this. So somehow you have to adapt your game on this pattern to straighten things out. That doesn't mean it has to be your A game, but it really needs to be maybe your A-B game. You got to have some tricks up your sleeve.
I think scores showed from day one to day two on that. Guys came in day one looking at the pattern, say, I'm going to give a little belly circle a little bit, and we saw, just a ridiculous number of splits on the board.
Oh. Yeah,
in day two, some different changes, and we saw even the last couple of games, the cut jumping 15, 20, 25 pins a game those last couple of games because people figured it out. Came in a little different game plan on game two, not trying to circle it, playing straighter.
There's several guys after the numbers were posted that didn't make it were beating themselves, because they didn't get their hand in a certain position to get the ball straighter through the front. They did the last game and a half, and they started striking. And if they'd have done a game and a half sooner than that,
yeah,
they'd have been playing.
And look at that last shot. We saw the replay there from Silva. He's not doing anything fancy, just getting the ball off his hand, letting the ball do the work, letting it peel off the pattern in the right spot, and knock all 10 down. Sometimes just keep it simple, right?
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. But,
easier said than done.
It is. Right? It is. In the heat of the moment, you always think, I left a 10-pin last time. I got to help. No, you don't. Just make a pure shot. Sylvia going at a 235 pace. Whoa.
Got that out to the dries a touch sooner, let the ball do the work, and we got a ball game here,
yeah,
Tom
235
Carter.
to 240. Yeah. Yeah, we're down to a 4-frame game. It'll be interesting to see what Jimmy does on this left lane. If he moves, gives it a little more speed, and tries to stay out. One thing I'm pretty sure he won't do is try to circle it. That's just not.
No, that's not an outbox game. That's
that-
especially
no,
now.
that-
Yeah.
That's more like his C game if he would try to do it. He's a great down and in player.
A little more speed. Still can't get it to lay off though.
Oh, that was disaster.
Oh, we know he can make it.
Yeah.
We expect it now. He
Yeah.
definitely a little faster with that, but still, it just grabbed that dries and took off.
Where Don is basically hitting 8-9, definitely 8 down lane. That was farther right, and there's just too much friction there. Can he do it twice?
Never a doubt, right?
I-
I mean, we expect him to make it now.
You have to wonder, do you leave that a lot so you're so good at it? I mean, my Lord. That was incredible. He made it look like that's just everyday stuff.
Staying in the match. And this is the tough part, I think, sitting back here watching these matches. We want to go up to Jim and say,
Oh, I do. I want to
you know,
go. I
grab a
want,
different ball, move something, right?
Yeah.
But we can't. We won't. But
I want to move his feet like left 2 and, maybe his eyes 1 and just kind of open the lane just a hair or put that other ball he was throwing in his hand.
write a little note on a piece of paper and send a paper airplane down there.
You're right. There you go. Carrier pigeon.
In the meantime, Silva jumps up there with a
That was
double.
a key. That was a key double right there. And he takes the lead with that.
Well, he got around that one early, too, and it's kind of pushed down lane. He got it in the right spot there, found the little shim.
Well, if you get around it early and that thumb starts going down, I mean, you take some of the hook out of the ball. But the thing you said, it held. And normally when you thumb down, you yank one. But his held, got away with it. Puts him in a position, if he does this the rest of the way out, to be bowling for a title against one of the hottest players on the senior tour.
Yeah, congratulations
Pete
on the
Weber.
win, but now you get Ron Moore, who
Yeah.
has 8 titles, a couple Player of the Years, 17 regionals, a U.S. Open.
And a partridge and a pear tree.
And
that was a huge three-bagger.
And he knows it.
And Jim's looking up at the score now going, You got a possible 220, and he's going at 235. Jimmy, since he's finishing first, definitely needs to strike out, put some pressure back on Sylvia, and hope for the best. When you put pressure on somebody, you're kind of, if when you're that guy, you're hoping maybe he'll just grab one a little bit or throw it a little slow.
But
The
the good thing for Sylvia, though, is he gets to finish on the right lane, not that left lane. He struck 3 out of 4 times on this lane. And that could end up being it is the key to the match. A pair of 3, 6, 7 10s for Knobloch on the left lane.
A good shot there. You get to see Jimmy. He actually got a medical release to wear those. He's got those, they're called steel fingers, I think, on his fingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because it's something he has with his hand, and that allows him to bowl. But, anything you can do to keep playing this game, that's incredible.
Made a pretty good shot there in that 10-pin.
Yeah, he posted that shot all the way down. He thought it was
I
good.
think they call it a ring 10.
Yeah.
About as big a ring as you can put on it, unfortunately.
That almost took the wind out of his sails when he did that. He knows he needed that. He's definitely got to perform on this left lane, which obviously isn't his best lane. Piece of cake spare for him, and if he can pick up the 3, 6, 7, 10, that 10 pin should be no problem.
Yeah, you would think so.
It's unusual for Phil sitting over here being so quiet. I'm not used to it.
No one is, ladies and gentlemen. No one is.
The caffeine wore off a little bit. Yeah. Just don't instigate him. We'll get him wound up here. Phil Brilo doing our great camera work over here to our left up in the booth.
He goes home and practices this stuff.
Natural talent. Just like all these PBA60 players.
Jimmy, for one that he needs bad. That was dead flush.
Well, you can go 209, and 9 out is 202 for Sylvia, so a double forces a mark out of Don. I mean, so he's got to get them both and at least make him perform. That's all you can do in this point. And after the last couple of shots, that 3, 6, 7, 10, that was a great adjustment.
That definitely looked like he was firmer.
It is 10 cents for a pin left on the deck on a strike. You realize that?
Yeah. Is that the rule?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we got a jar up here somewhere, and we'll have him deposit the dime later. But you know what? He needed a strike. He got the strike. He can still shoot 209. One more forces a mark out of Sylvia.
You know, and guys have thought, all I have to do is mark. And that is the worst thing that you can think. All I have to do? Yeah. There, he figured that left lane out, but it might be a little bit too much too late for him.
Yeah, your first
Look at
strike's
that.
on the lane in the 10th frame. It's a good spot for him. But
You know, we try to teach that so much to the young players that are just starting to learn this game, that posting the shot is huge. And that last shot, he dead posted till the pins were in the pit. And he stared them down.
well, yeah, that's the thing. Not only posting shot, but what I like to teach the kids more is watch your ball go through the pins.
Right.
If you can't post it, fine, because you're just up there just chucking it. But watch the ball go through the pins and understand why you did or didn't strike. And I mean, there's so much to that. And Jim's watching it all the way down. Great finish.
Yeah.
And, you know, Sylvia's got to get up, and he's got to get a mark.
He did what he had to do. I know he wished he could have figured out a frame sooner. Now it's up to Sylvia to fill somehow the 10th frame.
But his best finish out here on the tour. He's only missed one cut this year. Made a couple step ladders or made a couple cashers round. Going to finish at least third here, possibly more if Sylvia doesn't mark. So, you know, something for Knobloch to build on as we get ready for Elkhart in the final event on the PBA60 tour coming up in just a couple days.
I hear we might even have one more stop at Dave Small's next year in Kokomo. It's going to be a huge Midwest swing next year. Oh, he heard something. He's turning around, looking. You hear him point to his ear?
Yeah, I don't know if the noise was just after release or but yeah, he kind of pulled up on it, and this is no easy spare here on this 43-foot chameleon pattern. The 3-6-10.
Yeah,
he missed a 3-10 earlier.
Yeah, and he lost count, which, you know, he's got to put that shot out of his head. As I said earlier in this this week, 9,000 ways to miss it and one way to make it.
Oh, he's got it.
Oh, there for a minute I thought that ball was going to hook.
So did I. I thought I was going to hook too. I really did. He fooled us both. So now what are we at? 92.02. He's got to have 8.
8 pins. Another 7-pin count is a tie.
It's at 3 strikes, a 10 pin, and at 3-6-10 on this lane. And you know, we saw that last set. He just jumped up on it, pulled it left. I don't expect that to happen again.
Well, you hope that he doesn't. You know, I don't want to pull it left, push it too far right, and wash out, and then have a different 7 count rather.
7 to tie, 8 or better to win. He's giving it room.
Okay, there he goes.
All right. Great week, Jim Knobloch. Congratulations, Don Sylvia. Up next, championship match. Ron Moore looking for PBA 60 title. Will be title number 9 on the 50-60 tour against Don Sylvia.
Thanks, Dave. Your class act for opening up your places. Thanks for putting up for us for 2 weeks, or almost 2 weeks. You guys have been great. Sylvia's always great, and Jim is always great, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations. Ron Moore coming on, 8 warm-up shots, and a championship match coming your way. gentlemen, we are ready to start the championship here at Pro Bowl West, the PBA60 Tour Dick Weber Championship. It's two players going at it. Ron Moore has won 8 times on the PBA50 Tour, 17 times on the PBA Regional Tour. He was our 2009 and 11 PBA50 Tour Player of the Year. This is his 7th top 5 appearance just this year. He was born and raised here in Fort Wayne, going for the first title of this year. So good luck, guys. Give him a good show.
Back again with our final match. Ron Moore against Don Sylvia.
Did he just say 7 Stepladders this year?
He's made 7 Stepladders.
Wow.
He was born and raised in Fort Wayne, so Ron Moore is the hometown favorite.
Yeah, we heard that earlier this week. He's got a lot of family. He's got a lot of family and friends here still in the area, and they're coming out to support him, and we just saw that by the applause. And, local favorite. And I mean, you look at his career. He's earned this respect. That ball is way
left of target to begin with, and way did he get a break.
Wow.
That is hold beyond hold.
Well, I guess we'll see if he does that again on lane 41, but I'm going to guess
that was like
not.
11-12 down lane. That was every bit of 3 to 4 inside of his break point he's been playing.
So, as we said earlier, it's been since 2012 that Ron Moore's got a title in that, and it's just surprising. Player of the Year a couple times out here. Team USA 4-time, some gold medals in national competition. Here he goes for his first title here this season against Don Sylvia.
Well, he in his practice rounds all through the show when he gets to come over, and he was really trying to carve in a shot for himself with a little surface on the balls. He's got to hope that he didn't carve it so much that the balls run out of power for the hit.
And yeah, and that's the danger, right? Is you don't want to shoot up too much.
Yeah.
The ball's got to have something left.
It's kind of funny. Years ago, you didn't think about playing, I don't know if you want to call it defense or offense in this game, but now guys come over and they either use plastic or surface to try to better their shot.
And that's been the key for Weber this year is it's like you can't shut him out. Doesn't matter what you do. He just his ball gets clean down lane and just knocks them all down every time.
P. Weber has a release that about 100,000 bowlers have tried and nobody's been able to duplicate. Phil in that framer, classic style of Ron Moore. He looks the same every time he throws a shot. High follow through, clear over his head, gets all of it. He's more up the back of the ball than most of the players out here. He gets that ball to actually kind of hook set to the pocket. And when you find that hook set spot that the ball hits the pocket flush, you strike a lot. And that's what he did in match play.
And you know, he just hung around in that 10, 11, 12 spot all through qualifying. Then once match play hit, he just kicked it to another gear and turned it on. And Sylvia gave them a little more room.
I think his practice shots, he figured out he might need to open up the lane a little bit and use that extra friction he's got to the right. You know, talking to Don, he's a ball driller, and he's got some unique pitches in his thumb. You know, something that I don't think I've ever tried. But he's like 7/8 left, which is just a unbelievable amount of left pitch and reverse. But it allows him to stay more behind the ball and through it. I can't say that the seniors run him out, but he walked that one out pretty nicely.
A little bit, yeah, just a nice smooth walkout. So he's 7/8 away in his thumb, really. That's
A slight trot, I believe is the proper term. Slight trot is what the term to be used was.
Not quite a saunter. You know, Ron's had a couple different balls he's used this week. He's got a couple Alpha Cruxes. One you think he drilled up this morning. Just a little pin down for the fresh, but this is not really the fresh anymore.
No, he had two of them, both of them down there, like you said. One was the pin up and one was the pin down. But the one that he was that he really sanded up the most was the pin up one that when I was down there noticing. Kind of left the pin down one alone.
And there's one checking early. So the downside, I think, for Ron, though, is the couple balls he's used. He's got a couple of these Alpha Cruxes. He's also got the new no rules. He's got some big pieces out there. So when it's checking early like this, you're going a little high. His only move is left, right?
Right, and I think he tried to open it up so because he likes to kind of go, bounce it a little bit, get it to the right, and watch the ball check and set up to the pocket. So he might. I don't see it on the rack at this point, but he might jump to that no rules ball. He used it a lot.
Yeah. So championship match here, PBA60, Dick Weber.
Sylvia kind of putting the hammer on, starting out with the front three, more going spare, strike, spare.
Oh, that's left to target too, but it's pushed out. So we missed something in practice. Both players, did they definitely intentionally move to bump in there? Or those?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
They found some push.
I got a cup of coffee. I must have missed that.
I think we both missed that. Or shim, as the kids call it. They found a little shim there.
Well, if you find the shim and you can play right, what we call kind of on top of it, you got a great look. You just don't miss the shim.
That's what Galen Keys did yesterday, and just what did he shoot, 1440 or something?
785 out of the gate. He made him look like better than league. I think if nerves hadn't got to him in the game before position round, he'd have been on this show. Oh. I did see the 5-7-10 there, I think.
And we've seen it a couple times very, very close this week, and we almost caught it there. So
that
big break.
Would not have been good at all. He's stepping it out, and
the 5 wobbling, wiggling, coming down, 7 late.
Yeah.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Good break, just a 10-pin.
Yeah, that could have been all kinds of bad.
Cleans it up nice. And how about the guys here at Pro Bowl West and Dave Small, what he's done for the PBA60 and 60 Tour the last few weeks here in Indiana and the show they put on here at Pro Bowl West?
Dave's incredible. I mean, he is such a big supporter of the PBA. I think he's kind of following in George Pappas's footsteps. George has been a big supporter, and they're good friends. And Dave's just got tournament after tournament after tournament for us, which is, talk about going above and beyond.
Well, and he hosts college events, college championships, and like a dozen high schools that he sponsors at a different center. I think he's got 5 centers in the Indiana area. I think all Indianapolis and North. There's almost the 7-10 we saw a lot of. Another good break.
Wow, this last 2 shots have almost been disasters for him. And that's the last thing you want to do against Ron Moore, because he definitely knows how to win.
Yeah.
And that's got to be kind of crawling in your mind a little bit. Man, I just about left a 5-10 and almost left a 7-10. One thing Sylvia's
on the board,
got,
there are a couple 9 spares, so hey.
piece of cake. And Sylvia's really a good spare shooter. And he's pretty straight anyway, so he doesn't really. He kind of takes the lane out of play and point A to point B. You see him there walking off. I think he's got to walk it off and get his mind kind of reset a little bit.
Oh, yeah, say, you know what? I got 2 breaks. Take advantage of it. Regroup. Do it again. Ron Moore now yet to strike here on this right lane. A big chance to double up here and take a lead halfway through this championship match.
Yeah, you see a lot of the players do what he just did, especially Team USA guys. They get set. They got that just really exhale, let the tension out, go up so they're loose, make a good shot. He's backing that one out. That was way right. He was hoping that was going to carry. You about took out your camera, Phil.
I'm usually behind it when somebody does that to take me out.
Yeah, he got out of it good. Come up really strong up the back of it, and you watch.
You seen that hook set right there?
Yeah.
It just set up a little bit too soon, but it wasn't quite flush into the pocket. That's one thing Ron doesn't miss a lot of either. A Team USA player, they don't miss a lot of spares.
Well, it's hard to believe he's over 60 years old. I mean, look at the shape he's in. He does, what, 500 push-ups a day or something?
750.
Come on.
450 push-ups.
I've not done that many in the last decade. I will guarantee it.
I've said this before on Extra Frame. I roomed with him in Germany. I was there. I watched it. He made me tired. Just watch it. 750 sit-ups. It's nonstop. It's not like, he takes a break. And he turns around right after the 750, flips over and does 450 push-ups. And they're not like quick push-ups. He does them slow and methodical. I'm like, oh, my God. And he does it before he bowls. He does it 3 hours before he bowls.
Oh, it's like Little going out for a little 3-4 mile run before bowling. What's wrong with him? Good shot there for Ron Moore, though. And, he's got that strong grip. You see he's got that index finger really, really pushing into the ball almost to really keep his wrist straight and firm behind it. And you can't argue with the results. But a close match right now in this championship match here at the Pro Bowl West.
That pushing on with your index finger really helps you firm your wrist up and stay through the ball. Didn't look like Don wasted any time on that one. Got set, went, boom. We definitely have a close match here. It's just a matter who's going to finish these 4 frames.
And sometimes these matches, that's what you just don't think about too much. Just get up there, throw the ball, do what you've done all week long. Just stay relaxed, and easier said than done, obviously.
Well, especially in this match when you're bowling for a title. And Sylvia hasn't won for a while. It's been a couple of years since Ron's won. He's made a bazillion shows, but hasn't been able to pull the trigger.
Don taking a little more time here on this left lane, understanding the position he's in. Yeah, he's staying in tight.
That gives him if he picks this up, 138 in the 6th. He's still shooting at a 240 pace. And Ron's shooting at a 250 pace. This could be 248 to 250 if they both go off the sheet.
We got us a good match happening right here in Fort Wayne. PBA60 Dick Weber Championship presented by Hammer. Don Sylvia out of Daytona Beach, Florida, and Ron Moore now out of Las Vegas. Born and raised here in Fort Wayne. Spent some time in Alaska.
He spent a lot of time in Alaska.
A lot of time, 30-plus years.
Yeah. He was actually up there when I think Sean Rashes was out of Alaska. So they competed against each other several times.
Jimmy Hansen up there from the Anchorage area. Some good bowlers come out of Alaska.
And Kerry Painter on the senior tour, who has the title, just moved to Alaska. Maybe that's the key. You got to move to a place where people win.
There's another guy, Rick Gergen, who bowled back in the 80s on tour from my home center back in Michigan. Spent some time with Ron Moore and Jimmy Hansen up in Alaska as well. So a lot of bowlers made their way through.
What else are you going to do up there?
Yeah, shovel snow and bowl, right?
Shoot caribou. I don't know what you do.
Oh, boy.
That right lane is giving him a little bit of fits. Ball's just not facing up the right way.
See, he gave it that Petraglia peak, but he was thinking, just carry, and it didn't cooperate.
It might be some of the, you can see it set up, just doesn't quite get high enough in the pocket. His ball, to me, I see hook set. I don't see a ton of continuation through the pocket. But again, if you get the right spot where it hook sets, you strike all day. Amaletto used to do that back in the early days. Everybody always complained about Amaletto rolling the ball out right to the pocket.
And you wonder, how did he do it the way he did it with his rev rate? But he was, well, he's still really, really good at it. He's still really, really good at it.
Ron needs to start striking at this point, put a little bit of pressure back on Sylvia. Right now, Don's in the driver's seat by 18 pins.
18-pin match, 3 frames to go.
Then we pack up real quick and off to Elkhart, Indiana.
And that thing, Ron has struck every time on this left lane, which has been the tough one for everybody else. And so
that was the jinx of all jinxes.
Sorry, Ron.
That was the Nelson Burton jinx right there. When I was a kid and wanted to bowl, it always seemed like Nelson Burton, he's never missed a spare all week. Boom, missed a spare.
Phil, if you can edit that out for us so Ron doesn't hear it and come back and hunt me down, please do so.
How many of those did I pull this week, Craig?
Every
Not a
single
chance.
one of them.
Not a chance.
You were batting 1,000 this week on front 8, 9s, and 10s. But we watch enough games. Unfortunately, that happens. And, round through a good game. It's just kicking the corners out right now. A 4-pin, a couple 10 pins. But is it not having enough variation in equipment to know what to go to now?
I just think he's throwing too strong of stuff at this point. He needs something just a little bit cleaner that's going to make that turn a little stronger down lane. It's just making it too soon and losing too much energy before it hits the pocket. You got Sylvia throwing a pearl ball, which has got to be cleaner through the front, storing a little more energy, and Ron throwing lots of surface. And Ron's over there shaking his head. You can see him on the sideline going, I can make it my 7th top 5 and not win, and that's going to be enough to make you kind of nuts.
Yeah, I mean, this match is far from where we still got a few frames to go, but you got a feel for Ron. Even back in the village, we talked and how much he wants to get that win again. He's been so close, and he's here week in and week out. But it's just a matter of getting the couple breaks. I mean, Sylvia had a couple breaks, back-to-back shots where they could have been splits. They were just 9 counts, makes the spares. And
well, yeah, look at the greats. You talk about Walter Ray and Pete and how many times they've won, but how many times have they come in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
The Walter numbers. I heard the number a while ago, and it's just ridiculous. It was so many second-place finishes. It was almost hard to believe. But, it happens to the best of them.
Right. If it's your day, it's your day. And right now, it's kind of looking like Sylvia's day. Ron, kind of like the last match, he really needs to fill these 2 frames to force Don to do something in the 10th. This has been the tough lane for him. The ball just not facing the pins the right way. Again, it happened.
Yeah, and he's going to be thinking now, it's just sooner or later it's going to happen, but it's just it doesn't seem like it's happening this season for him, and it's unfortunate because one of the nicest guys out here, always friendly, always cordial, and a heck of a competitor as well.
I think Don Sylvia has won his 4th title. Ron's looking at 208. Sylvia looking pretty close.
9 outs, 205. Just like last match, Ron can cheat and force a mark again out of Sylvia, and that's the best you can do is hope to make him perform.
Yeah, he needs to strike out. Otherwise, he handed the match right to Don. I shouldn't say he handed it to it, but he just couldn't figure out that right lane, and now it's pretty much all over. He's totally frustrated. The fact of getting here so many times and having winning this year. We got one more stop, and that's a major.
And you know what? You got to believe he's going to be in the mix. I mean, why not?
You got to believe it. We're on a 41-foot pattern next week. I think it's going to be pretty conducive to the way he throws the balls. You can see some big numbers out of him next week. I think Don's kind of over there in disbelief. He's Ron Moore finishing up with a 196.
And a great round of applause here for the old hometown fans as Ron grew up here in this area. And the guys out here know, even the players stick around watching, they know the year that Ron's had and that he really, really wants that win. It's going to happen.
Well, and all of his fans here, they feel for him because they'd like to see him win. All Sylvia's got to do is just hit something. He did, and he is our PBA60 champion.
Yeah, he was the 03 Senior Player of the Year. He's got 3 titles. We don't have the information how long it's been, but you know what? Title number 4 is right here at Pro Bowl West. Tom Carter, thanks again for joining us on the broadcast.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. Don Sylvia is our champion. We're going to get set for the interviews here. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks for tuning in. PBA 60 Dick Weber Championship. Don Sylvia is our winner.
Don Sylvia, the champion of the PBA 60 Dick Weber Championship here at Pro Bowl West. Congratulations to Don Sylvia winning his 4th national title.
All right, here we are live from the PBA 60 Dick Weber Championship. Don Sylvia, our winner. You've got 3 titles before today. Number 4 came right here at Pro Bowl West. Congratulations, Don.
Thank you very much.
2003 PBA 50 Player of the Year. Come on in here a little bit. Let's say something for our fans. And how's it feel?
Boy, this is just a dream come true. Up until 5 weeks ago, I was going to retire, coming here, asking John Weber for my banner, and heading home. I might have to change that. I don't know.
Well, we do have a tournament coming up in Elkhart. You're going to sign up now and try to go back to back?
Well, I don't know about back-to-back, but I might look into Elkhart if I can find a room for under 200. So anyway, this was just an unbelievable tournament for me. One thing I have to say, in 1976, I shot my first PBA 300 game, crossing with the great Dick Weber. This is amazing to win a tournament with his name in it.
Yeah, congratulations. And as we get ready to do our trophy and check presentation, how about a round of applause for the staff here at Pro Bowl West, the job they've done all week. Dave Small and the crew for the last month here for the PBA60 Tour. Great job, guys. We appreciate it. And let's bring in Dave Small and Brian Cave, the GM here, for some hardware and some checks here, Don. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I petted this thing all week.
Did you?
Nobody was looking.
Congratulations. Thanks a lot. So proud of you. Congratulations. Beautiful wine bucket trophy.
Yes, sir. The great trophy and the customary bottle of wine here from the staff and the crew.
Thank you very much.
$7,500. 500 for you.
Oh, my God.
I don't think retirement's in order yet.
No
retirement. No retirement yet.
This is unbelievable.
And congratulations, Don. Dave, Brian, some words here? Great week, great month. I mean, what do we got in store again for next year from Dave Small and all these centers?
Well, we'll kind of keep that quiet right now. Not sure yet. But, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ron Moore. Awesome competitor. Great bowler all week. Wonderful season for Ron. We have a check for $4,000 for Ron and his finish. And, Don, amazing week for you. Congratulations. Awesome bowling all day. I'm so proud of you. Great to have you as our third champion.
Thank you, man. I just want to thank Dave and the staff. They do a great tournament every year. We can count on them. They host more than one. And if I can find a way to get to Elkhart, I'm coming.